And welcome back to I Have a Story. I've been talking about drugs and so much on my channel. There is so much to talk about, and it's so hard to try to keep these videos short, try to make a segment of videos and have people watch the whole segment before they reply. And to not have seen enough on my channel to understand who I am. And I recently had a commenter that felt offended by what I was saying, but yet I hadn't even talked about what I was really saying yet and hadn't laid it all out there. And I want to ask people to please listen to all that I talk about and how I present it. And sometimes I'm going to tell you I don't always present it the best because I'm in such an emotional state right now. If my life, when I planned on making this channel 4 or 5 years ago, that was 2019 that I actually sat down with the counselor, and our counselor said, Jason, the way you operate, you need to do this. You need to be a public figure. My counselor now is telling me that, and that's part of what inspired me to do this, was because she pushed me to. And I thank you, Stephanie. So my channel would be so much different if it wasn't what my life had been for the past 3 years, roughly, almost. February, we're coming up on 3 years. If it wasn't for what it had been for the past 3 years, it'd be coming out of me totally different. And sometimes, and I'm human, and I'm not going to edit it. I'm here to show you I'm human. And even though I have an incredible mind, I make mistakes. I don't always do the best I should. I'm here to show all of that, even in myself, people. So I'm not going to hide it. I'm not going to edit it out. And I understand people being offended and hurt by some of that sometimes, because when you have pain and you feel pain, other people get hurt. Part of what I've been talking about all on my channel, is it not? I hope that people watch enough of my channel have realized that even though I talk about difficult things and hard things, that I'm not attacking people. We have to talk about this stuff in order to face reality. And there's a lot of things to say, and I don't know what all to say at the right moments. It's really hard for me in a lot of ways to do what I'm doing, and again, what my whole life has been and what it is today. So I don't mean to offend anybody, and some people might be offended because maybe they didn't know and they don't want to believe it. We live in a world that we can't believe things that don't feel good. We don't want other people to know about the things that don't feel good. I don't know. But I'm not here to put anybody down. I've learned amazing things everywhere I've lived and learned about people, because I've spent my life out there daily just roaming and just stopping and talking to everybody I meet. High society all the way to the gutter. I don't care where I live or where you're from. We're all a community. And just because I talk about things that I've seen throughout communities in my life doesn't mean they're wrong. Doesn't mean I'm lying. It doesn't mean they don't exist. Maybe people haven't seen it, or they just don't want to see it. And that's all I'm here to do, is just find out more myself, share what I've learned, and learn more myself. And we only do that by talking about things. We can only make progress by communication. I don't know if I should go into what I was originally sat down and wanted to make a video about a specific thing, but I went on this, and I kind of want to separate them. So I'm going to ask people, please, let's talk. Don't feel hurt and have to attack, and let pain be a derivative of what we do here on this channel. At least not in a negative way. I guess I will say in part, the commenter, and in my video, I didn't go back and rewatch it to see what all I had talked about. And I talk in pain a lot, and it comes out of me the wrong way. I come back and look at what I did, try to change the way I am. This is how we become better people. And I've struggled with this my whole life, because I've lived in such pain my whole life that I want out of it. I don't want any more pain. I'm so tired of all the attacks. And so much that has taken place. I want freedom for everybody. I truly believe in freedom for all. That's not what my life has been, and it's not what I've seen, and what I've been taught my whole life I've seen is wrong, and not till you get out in the real world and see it for yourself and live it do you find out even what we've been taught, and doing research on what we've been taught was either partial truths or not the whole truth at all. And now doing research on things that I've learned throughout the history, and even with the Native Americans, I found, wait, a lot of this wasn't actually the way it was shown to me, and now what I see and what I as a free thinker can put together and learn, and I'm not seeing what I was taught. Again, so many roads I can go down to with that, but I'm going to try and keep this short. I'm not here to put people down. I'm here to put myself down as much as I could try to even think about putting. I put myself down. That's what I do. Just because I point out what other people do wrong, in my head, I beat myself up more than I do anybody else. Like everything, and everybody needs to do that, but there has to be balance, like everything, balance. I see a world that has no balance anymore. So it makes me want to fight back at everything that I see pushing things out of balance, right back, even harder. I've talked about it. Push me a little bit, I'll just teeter. You push me hard, I'll give you a little pushback. You keep driving into me, now I gotta push as hard as I can back to stand up on my own feet. That is the truth. So, I'll ask my commenter to help share knowledge. Please tell me where I'm wrong, because I know what I've seen firsthand, and what I've talked about is not wrong because I've seen it firsthand. You can't tell me it doesn't exist. I could understand if you didn't. I can understand if you don't want to. But at the same time, it's not going to, my life, if I lived my life in a world where I didn't face the things that I have to face in life, I'd be done. I would be 6 feet under, or just left wherever I was. And but part of what I want to talk about too is the drugs. From where I used to come from, it was heroin and coke. Here, it's meth and coke. And in different cultures, there's a difference. More white people here that I've met, and I've met a lot, and I have heard a lot, and I get around many communities, dozens of miles all around me. White people are more into cocaine. There are white people who do meth. Indian culture, it is 99% meth. And there's a difference between meth and cocaine, which I'm going to make on my next break. When I sit down, I'm going to go outside and get some more work done. And when I come back in, I'm going to sit down and make another video and talk about meth is death and why. Why meth is so much different than the other drugs. And it's also going to relate with the pharmaceutical industry. And teaching more about truly chemicals and what's natural. Because that's really what it comes down to. So I'll ask you to stick around for the next video. Why is meth death? What it actually does. What it's actually doing. What I've seen in people and problems and all sorts of things that don't ever try it. People don't. Listen to a story I'll have to share with a family who, not a family, a husband and wife who tried it for a weekend and what it did to them. Don't even think about it. Just even thinking you're going to have fun this weekend. But then again, I will talk about, when I do talk about the Indians, what's that's done to their community is a group of people. Something else I wanted to point out, and I had actually wrote that comment or a reply to that, or their comment. I spent like over 20 minutes writing it down because I can't just sit here and type and text and even look at a screen. That's why I'm constantly looking away from my camera, because I can't just sit here and look at a screen. I'll go completely blackouts in my vision. And some people don't know how to correlate some of the things they see in me because of things like that. I can't just sit there and stare you straight in the eye, because if I focus my eyes too long on anything, I go blind. Things I've had to learn to cope with and deal with in my life. But I had to retype out that whole comment. And part of what I've learned with the Indian culture is that their liver does not digest alcohol the same. I'm not here to put them down, but what has alcohol done to their culture? It's done it's made a lot of bad people. So how it's really hard for me to sit down, and I'm going to be sharing this. Please, people, don't poke at me yet. Don't come at me with this. I'm here to share the truth, and nobody's ever going to get actual progress for the positive in life unless we face reality. Alcohol does not digest in the Indian liver. It's part of what I've learned from the Causley family, which I was talking with that comment. I learned that from the Causley family, and I did some more research and learned from other people. Yes, the Indian liver does not digest alcohol like the white man does. And it makes them do really bad things because their liver cannot digest it properly. Therefore, the chemicals are changing in their brain from the processes taking place through their body that make them do things they would have never done before. Now let's go back in history when did Indians have alcohol when the white man showed up in America? Or did the white man bring alcohol not realizing what they were going to do to the Indians? I mean, these are questions, people, that I have that go far beyond anything I hear anybody talk about. That's why I'm here. What has all this done to history throughout the course of time to the human race? The things that nobody else talks about. And things that I'm still learning. Please share more, because I can't learn more. We all can't learn more unless we're actually talking, communicating, and learning. So those are all things I'm going to talk about, because even what I've seen and heard about, know about with the bad things that have happened in the Indians, I don't just sit there and hate Indians, because we're all screwed up. How do we guide this together? I've seen people here who don't like the Indians and have very bad feelings towards them because of the things that have taken place. And nobody needs to be hating anybody. The only way we stop the hate is to bring the truth, to communicate, and stop doing the things that cause it. Life truly is that simple. So let's try more in that direction. Instead of just all our feelings and our personal gains and all of what we have to gain from it today, me, now. Because that is destroying our whole entire country.